Hello everyone, and welcome to my very first podcast. The name of my podcast is called Midlife Awakening, and it's just giving me the opportunity to share my journey into self-love and accepting yourself as you are. And yeah, I just doing it in the hope that even if it helps one person, I'm so very happy and grateful for that. It's basically just all those conversations that don't get said and happen as much as they should. Just in regards to, some topics that I'll come up with are depression, my personal struggles with depression, self-love, my spirituality, and just how being a mother and a wife and a business owner and just trying to carve out that time just for yourself as well, and just how important that is. So that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, but I thought for my very first podcast, I just wanted to share the story of who I am, where I've came from, and sort of what's led me up to where I am now. And yeah, I really would like you to come along for the journey with me, and I hope that it could help you, or maybe even someone you know that could be struggling, and that you might see me in them, and work out ways to communicate with them that will work. So my name is Natasha. I have very many hats, but probably my top 3 would be I'm a wife. I met my husband when I was 15. I'm now 39, so we've been together a long time. I'm also a mother. I have 2 beautiful daughters who I love with all my heart. And I'm also a fur mama. So I have a French bulldog called Sage. She's 9 months old. I have a Staffy Cross, who is 5 years old. He's so sweet. And I also have a 17 hand high thoroughbred horse named Brody. So I'm a very proud mama of 2 daughters, 3 fur babies, and I also have a husband. And to top all that off, my husband and I also have our own business. We have a mechanical workshop. So my story is I was born here in Nambour. I'm coming to you live from the Soundbox Studios in Nambour, and so very grateful for their patience today while I've been learning how to do all this, because I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, but I'm trying my best, so thank you. So I was born in Nambour. So my joke is that I was born at the top of the hill where the hospital is, and I basically rolled down, and my husband and my workshop is basically down the bottom of the hill. I also live in Nambour, so I live, breathe, everything Nambour. So I spent most of my childhood living in a little town called Yandina. I have 2 very loving parents. And yeah, I spent my childhood in Yandina. I went to Yandina State School. Probably a big memory for me in primary school, apart from having an amazing time, but probably that first sort of self-doubt that started coming in to my mind was probably in about grade 3. I was really teased about being fat. Yeah, I was fat. And that sort of started that self-hatred for me, unfortunately. Becoming a teenager and obviously growing and everything, I did lose weight, and I was very fit. I done soccer and done all sports at school and stuff. Went to Nambour High School. I met my husband when I was 15, as I said. And yeah, it's just been an absolute roller coaster. I had 2 children. So I fell pregnant with my first daughter when I was only 18. It wasn't in the plan, but my husband and I had been together for about 3 years, and we decided that we wanted to keep our daughter. And I remember my wish was that I wanted a girl, and I wanted her to have blue eyes, and I was lucky enough to get both those things. She's absolutely gorgeous and has the most beautiful blue eyes I've ever seen. And then unfortunately, being so young, I fell pregnant at 18. I had her when I was 19. Obviously, being a mum at 19, I wasn't ready. I didn't know what to do. I was very lucky though to have such an amazing support system around me, like whole family on both sides, my husband's side and my side. Probably my biggest supports would have been my mum and my nana. I honestly couldn't have got through it without you guys. But that was very hard, and I was really struggling, especially when I was left alone with her. I'd freak out that I wasn't doing something right, and then it's sort of, obviously with putting weight on, being pregnant, putting weight on, then having a baby, and then sort of being at home with the baby and everything, and I was struggling. Probably not until about 6 months, until she was about 6 months, I'd say. I'm not 100% sure, not great with dates. I was at the doctor's, and he could tell that something was up, and he said to me, how have you been feeling lately, and blah, 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 blah. And I just said, well, to be honest, I was driving down the Bruce Highway the other day, because I was back working by that stage. I said, and I looked at the concrete wall in the middle of the highway, and I thought, I just want to drive into it. And he went, oh. So that was my start of my journey as being diagnosed with postpartum depression. It's hard because, you've got this little baby, and you know that you love her and she's everything in the world to you, but you're just so clueless as to what to do and everything like that. And obviously not sort of only being like a year and a bit out of school myself, it was just, it was hard to navigate, I guess you could say. But that's just part of my journey. So I didn't think that I was going to have another child, to be honest. So got to about that 4-year mark, and I'm like, I think I'd like for her to have a sibling. And so I made the effort with my doctor to come off my antidepressants that I had been prescribed. And luckily for us, within the first month of trying, we fell pregnant with my youngest daughter. And she is something else. So my first daughter is very like calm, kind, loving sort of, whereas my second daughter is just like, she just goes. She was the most beautiful baby. She was the total opposite to her sister, actually. She come out with really dark hair, and she had dark eyes, and really took after my side of the family, whereas my other daughter takes after my husband's side of the family. So yeah, she was like big ball of spunk as soon as she came out. She's like with all this hair and everything like that, and she was a bigger baby too. Like she was ready for the world. So I was in the delivery room getting ready to have her, and then it was taking, like, labor was very long, and then they done some obs on the baby, and they said, oh, listen, we're going to have to send you in to have an emergency C-section because the baby's showing signs of stress. And that just literally stopped my heart. Like, I couldn't believe it, and I was just like, oh my God. And then the epidural that they do so you can have the C-section didn't work for me. So then I had to go fully under to have her. So that was scary. But I finally got to meet a bundle of joy, and yeah, she's fantastic. She was the most fantastic baby. Started sleeping through the night at the 3 months, and she was just really, really good. And then she hit about 18 months old, and I say she started her terrible twos early, and that she sort of never stopped. She's very full on, always doing something, changing her mind. Oh, she's a crazy girl, but I love her. I love that about her. It's really hard as a parent trying to raise a daughter that's very headstrong and opinionated. But I know that when she goes out into the world, that they'll be the qualities that I want her to have the most. So I really do love that about her. She is at that stage in life at the moment where she's trying different things and trying to work out who she is and where she fits into the world, and it is confusing sometimes as a mother to try and keep up with everything, but just trying to be supportive as well in what she wants to do and what she wants to try. So yeah, just trying to do it. Yeah. And so I have 2 daughters. Oh, we've got our first house. Kids grew up, and as they say, they grow up in the blink of an eye, which is 100% true. They really do. So my daughters are now 19. My 19-year-old doesn't live at home, but her 14-year-old sister, we still have her at home. And yeah, so we sort of just plodding through life and doing everything, and then unfortunately COVID hit. My husband and I both got made redundant from our jobs at the time, whilst absolutely heartbreaking for my husband, because he had been working at that place of employment for 16 years, so it sort of hit him a little bit off left field. And he took time to really reflect and work out if being a mechanic was even what he wanted to do anymore, whether he would take that opportunity to change his, career path, do something else. My dad started out as a mechanic, and then he learned a different trade of building, and then he done that. So my husband was sort of thinking, maybe it might be time for a change. And then after a while, he was just like, you know what, I've come this far in my mechanicking. I want to open my own shop. And I was so proud of him, and I supported him all the way. I'm very proud to say that our mechanical business has been open and running for nearly 3.5 years now. My husband and I both work together. Sometimes that's amazing. Sometimes that has struggles, as you could imagine. But all in all, love working with my husband. Love all of our customers. And yeah, it's just a whirlwind. We started from scratch, completely from scratch, which was scary in itself. But super proud of just how far we've come in that time, and just so grateful too for all of our customers and everything. So that's sort of a bit of my backstory. Probably another thing I should add into the backstory, and probably something that's helped me get to where I am now. I suppose everything has helped me get to where I am now, but these are probably some bigger moments. So probably about 15 years ago, I had gastric banding surgery. Started off really well. It was I was losing weight. Unfortunately, I developed gallstones, so I had to have it removed, have my gallbladder removed. So I got down to I was 129, and I'd got down to 99, and I was like, oh my God, I'm finally under 100 kilos. This is amazing. I'm so happy. And then after that operation, because obviously when the attacks were happening and stuff, when I ate, that was when I'd get the attacks. So I'd sort of avoided eating, but obviously after the operation, and then I could start eating a little bit more frequently, then unfortunately the weight just kept creeping back on and on. Kept going to obviously the surgeon who filled up my band and everything like that, but I don't know, it just didn't work. So I lived with that, and I guess the mindset was that I'm not having another operation. This one didn't work and I don't care, and blah, and that was the attitude that I had. I'm not doing it again. Like, I'm not putting myself through that again. But I definitely wasn't loving the person that I was. Like, I was still very hateful of myself and my body and everything like that, and I sort of wasn't getting anywhere. Like, I'd exercise out of, hate for me and my body and everything like that. And then basically I went to the doctors and he'd done like a routine blood test and told me that there was, and I can't remember the name of it, so please forgive me, but basically I was starting to get the signs of like cholesterol starting in my bloodstream, and I just went, oh my God, okay, all right, we really have to look at, okay, all right, that's my wake-up call, I'm going to go, okay. So I went to a surgeon just to have a chat at first. He recommended for me, because I'd had the band, that gastric bypass would be my option. So yeah, I went and saw him and I decided, okay, and yep, it all went ahead. I thought, this is great, this is going to work out. And by that stage, my mental health was pretty low, and I was on a number of antidepressants, and even lithium. So, and one of my concerns when I went to the surgeon was my antidepressants and the absorption and all that sort of stuff. And he sort of said, it'll, once it all settles down, it'll all be fine, blah, 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 blah. To cut a long story short, I had the gastric bypass surgery. I was on my second day after the operation. I didn't realise it at the time in the hospital, but I was just had this thing of, I need to get out of here. And it basically just turned into, I was having major withdrawals from my antidepressants. So I had a very bad episode. I ended up at my mum's, just trying to work through it, on the phone, like, getting my medications changed from being tablet form to, if I could get them in liquid form, I was getting them in liquid form so I could absorb them better. And it was a really scary time. And I thought, oh my God, what if I don't come back from this? This is not good. Excuse me. And we worked through it. Within a week, I think I stayed at my mum's a week. So grateful for her for taking some time off work to do that with me. It was a very hard time, and I could not have done it without her. But I got through it with my mum's help and sort of got back home and got back to normal. Started losing a little bit of weight, but not a lot. Like, I'm thinking, okay, my stomach is like tiny now and it's bypassed half of my intestines, and I'm doing all these things that you're telling me to do. I'm only eating this much in the cup, and I'm only, I'm doing the right things. I'm going for walks every day. I'm, like, I'm really giving this all I've got, like, because this is it. This is my last chance. Like, and I was seeing a psychologist at the same time, and I was seeing her for a while even before the operation, just to make sure that my head was at the right place, to have the operation. And it was just like, wow, okay, what's going on? Like, and sort of 6 months came up and it slowed up even more. And by the year after, I'd stopped losing and I was starting to put on again. I think I had the operation, I was 128 kilos. I never got down past, I think my lowest was about 113. And I think, honestly, now that looking back, that was probably the biggest moment for me in relation to Natasha. You need to love yourself for who you are. Don't start loving yourself when you're this size. And the more that I started to look at that and develop that, it was like, yeah, you're overweight, but you can still do everything. It's not like you're incapable of doing everything. You can still do things. And it sort of started from there, and that's sort of where the journey began, I would say, for me. And obviously the impact of losing jobs and starting from scratch with a business and everything like that, that sort of built up a new strength in myself that I never knew I had as well. Even in that time, I've said goodbye. Like I've people have left my life that I thought would be in my life forever. So I guess it's true what they say, that you sort of have to hit rock bottom before you can get up. But I feel with the operation and the starting the new business and everything like that, it's sort of just slowly making me believe in myself, I guess you'd say. And that in itself is a superpower, just believing in yourself. Sounds a bit cliche, but I'm just telling you how I feel. And this is where this story sort of begins. I want to share with you what lifts me up, what gets me out of these dark places I've been in, and you know, those hard topics that people don't like to talk about, spirituality and depression and all these things that, you know, some people just don't, they just don't feel comfortable talking about it. And I feel like there is people that I can talk to in my life, but I don't know whether they meet me on as deeper level as I'm at, if that makes sense. So when I was thinking about doing the podcast, the first person I told was my sister. My sister, she is a beautiful soul, and I knew exactly that she would be the right person to tell, because she's just a beautiful soul, and and she was and I knew she'd be supportive, is probably my biggest thing, and she was. She rang me and we had a big conversation about it, and she wants to be a guest at some stage, so I'm really looking forward to having her on at some stage, and everyone to meet her, because she's absolutely beautiful. She's 8 years younger than me, but I sort of look at her in awe. She's very cemented in the person that she is, and she owns it, and I love it. But yeah, so I guess we'll spend the next just couple of minutes. I just wanted to say that, so this morning, like I'm really into like oracle cards and all that sort of stuff. So I have a deck from Pass Around the Smile. I ordered a deck from her, and it's called Positive Guidance Oracle Cards. And this morning I asked just about the podcast and everything that I'm looking at starting, because it's obviously very nerve-wracking and exciting at the same time. And this is the beautiful card that I drew, and I just want to read it to you. It's called Resistance, and it says, often the things we resist the most are the things we want or need the most. Putting up a wall of resistance may feel as though we are protecting ourselves. However, allowing this wall to remain is stopping us from moving forward. Success and change bring the unknown and new experiences. This can be daunting and uncomfortable, causing our subconscious mind to cling to those fears in the hope that resistance is protecting us. Sometimes what unfolds for us doesn't end up working out. However, this is part of the process. Rather than sinking back into the familiar feeling of fear, trust in the redirection. Are you resisting incredible things unfolding for you? You are ready for this experience. You are deserving of the good that is coming your way, and there is no one better suited for it. And then it says to affirm, I trust that I'm protected. as I let go and allow incredible things to unfold around me. I'm deserving. That was amazing for me to draw. It was like, okay, don't let anything stop you. This is going to give you what you need. I've been listening to Brene Brown a lot lately, and she talks about carving time to, for you. Like, it's unnegotiable time for yourself. Because I know if all I do is concentrate on work and home and being a mum and looking after the animals and all that sort of stuff, I get very overloaded, I get very stressed, I get very, oh my God, you don't want to know me. So that really, really made sense for me, resonated with me so much. Working with my horse Brody is a non-negotiable time for me. So I do that 3 days a week. I go and spend about an hour and a half with him, working with him, doing groundwork. I need it. I love working with him. He's a beautiful boy. And in regards to that card and the podcast itself, it's just like stepping out of your comfort zone, sharing your story in the hopes of helping other people. But it's also given me the drive to, okay, before I came here to record, I'd done all my chores and everything because I knew I was coming here and I wanted to record, and that's sort of part of my creative side. I want to create and talk to you guys and whatever. And then I've made time this afternoon for rest. So, rest and doing what you want to do, but also doing what you have to do, because I find if I ignore my chores, then they just get overwhelming, and then that affects me mentally. So another big part of me is that I'm spiritual. I believe that, people that have passed over that I know are still with me, and they do send me signs. So I have another deck of cards called The Spirit Messages from John Holland. And I said this morning, how do you guys feel about my podcast? And I drew the most amazing card, and I honestly got goosebumps when I did it. So amazing. I was just so blown away, but I want to read the meaning to you because I love it. The card I drew is You Are Not Alone, and it reads, we are here for you. We never left. Through all the sadness and loneliness, however, you cannot sense us near you or feel how much love we are sending you. We are your family, friends, and guides. You never walk alone. We walk right beside you. This card comes at a time when you're probably missing someone, feeling lonely or lost, or not getting the emotional or spiritual help you truly need from those around you. Even though you may be feeling abandoned, don't forget that we are here for you, holding you, guiding you, and helping you through your grief and sadness. It is we who raise you up and gently push you forward. Please remember that we are spirit, not body. You are spirit incarnated in your body, and as such, we are all spirit. You can connect to us anytime you wish. Find a quiet time where you can be by yourself in your favorite space, light a candle, hold us in your mind, and reach out with your heart and thoughts. When you feel a gentle, warm wave of love wash over you, a tingle up your spine, or even a special thought or image, know these are all signs that we are connected and we love you always. So that for me was the goosebumps. Was they're with me, and I know that they're here with me today. So I'm probably going to wrap up now, just because all I wanted to do today was let you know who I was. I'm a 39-year-old wife, mother of 2, business owner, now podcaster. Never thought in a million years, but here we are. Just wanting to share my story with you guys, and I'm hoping that I can either help you or someone else you know if they're struggling, and just things that have helped me. I'm not necessarily giving you advice on what you should do, but I just want you to know that you can get through this. Like, yeah, it is doable. It has taken me such a long time, 39 years. So I don't want to take it any longer than it needs to be. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening, and I look forward to bringing another podcast to you next week. Thank you very much, and have a great week.